Hello, everybody. How are you guys? I hope you guys are good. Hope you're having a great day or night, no matter where you are. Now, I've been doing some research. Today is National Missing Children's Day, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do some digging around the Nova Scotia area regarding the Lilly and Jack Sullivan case, who, by the way, are still missing. Still no evidence of them has been found. If you have not seen any of my previous videos on this case, please make sure you go back and check those out. Now, there's a few things that I wanted to bring up. I thought, you know what, I've been doing a lot of thinking about the system and missing children and a lot about that today. So I'm going to do this video first, and then later on I will have another video just about how the whole entire system is broken. But for this video, let's get right into it. Please do me a favor. If you have not already done so, please hit that like button and please subscribe to the channel. Advocates speak out in Nova Scotia's human trafficking hub, Truro. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. But Truro, that is where, by the way, that is where Malia's father is from, and he was arrested for trafficking, by the way, not human trafficking, but trafficking. And it's also where Malia is now with her mother. So, Nova Scotia's human trafficking hub. There are more victims per capita than any province. This article discusses serious topics that may be sensitive to some readers. If you or someone you know has been affected by sexual or intimate partner violence, these resources are available to you. Colchester Sexual Assault Center, Avalon Sexual Assault Center, Kids Help Phone, and for crisis services, call or text 211 or call 1-855-466-4994. Human and sex trafficking happens in this province. That's what Kirsten Gulliver with Trauma Recovery for Exploited Youth, Trey, and Linda McDonald and Janine Sarson with Persons Against Non-State Torture want people to know. One of the biggest things that we now see is that a lot of people like to pretend that's not happening. Gulliver said in an interview on May 21st, a lot of people like to assume it's not happening to us. It's not happening in our towns or our communities. Nova Scotia has the highest rates of human trafficking reports per capita. We're a well-known source province, and Truro is the hub of human trafficking. Among the provinces, 2 exceeded the national rate, 1.0 incidents per 100,000 population, of police reported human trafficking between 2012 and 2022. Nova Scotia had the highest rate of human trafficking at 3.1 incidents per 100,000 population, followed by Ontario at 1.6. So Nova Scotia's rate is extremely, extremely high. One of the biggest points Gulliver raised and wants everyone to know is that Truro is the hub for trafficking in Nova Scotia, and Nova Scotia is considered a source province for the rest of the country. She added that victims of human trafficking are disproportionately racialized women, particularly Indigenous women. So while people who identify as Indigenous only make up 4% of the Canadian population, they make up more than half of victims of trafficking. Now, I'm not going to go on and read this. What I will do when I get done is I will mark all of these and link them all in the description below. Okay. So I want to move on to the next one. Truro area man charged with multiple offenses by Provincial Human Trafficking Unit. Provincial? A 52-year-old man from Truro has been charged with multiple human trafficking related offenses after an investigation by the RCMP's Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit. As part of the ongoing investigation, RCMP officers learned of an individual committing human trafficking offenses in the Truro area, and on January 29th, investigators safely arrested 52-year-old Aaron Keith McKenzie. He was charged with human trafficking, receiving a financial benefit from human trafficking, procuring a person to provide sexual services, and advertising sexual services. Now, this was February 2nd of 2025, okay? March 4th, 2025. Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit charges man with multiple human trafficking related offenses. The Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit, HTU, has charged a man with offenses related to human trafficking, including procuring persons under 18, advertising sexual services, and trafficking in persons. In July 2023, the HTU received a report from a victim of human trafficking who was a youth at the time the offenses began. Over the course of the investigation, the officers became aware of a second victim. Offenses took place between 2017 and 2023, while the victims and the accused were in Nova Scotia. On February 22nd, 2025, officers from HTU traveled to British Columbia and arrested Simon McNamee, 31, as he was living in Vancouver at the time. He was transported back to Nova Scotia, where he was charged with a total of 17 offenses, including receiving material benefit from sexual services, procuring persons under 18, advertising sexual services, and trafficking in persons. Now, again, this was March 4th of this year, okay? Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit, again, okay, this was August 15th, 2022. Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit charges 2 men with sex and labor trafficking offenses. Help police solve more human trafficking. The Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit has charged 2 men with human trafficking offenses as part of Operation Homeward. On June 9th, 2022, the Nova Scotia Human Trafficking Unit received information via their tip line that a woman was being trafficked by a Yarmouth man. Yarmouth? With this information, an investigation was stated and named Operation Homeward, which, by the way, all took place in Pictou County. During the course of the operation, investigators determined that the man was involved with trafficking numerous victims for both sex and labor. Investigators also gathered information and evidence that a second Yarmouth man was also involved. Support is being provided to the victims and their families. And then all the counts he was charged with. And there was actually a second man that was also charged in that whole thing. Now, Nova Scotia sees the highest rate of human trafficking in Canada. Incidents tripled in 2019. Human trafficking numbers rose by 44% across the country in 2019 from the year before. In Nova Scotia, they tripled, an increase of more than 400%, accounting for almost 1 in 10 of all reported incidents in the country. Now, again, those are just the ones that are reported by police. But those statistics may not paint an accurate picture, says law enforcement and advocates who believe the actual numbers are even higher because so many cases go unreported. The new report from Statistics Canada, released in May, shows that in 2019, Halifax had the highest rate of police-reported human trafficking in the country at more than 10 incidents per 100,000 people. It's 7.5 times higher than the national average rate. Halifax also reported the second highest number of incidents of all Canadian cities, second only to Toronto. With a population of roughly 6.5 million people, Toronto recorded 40 cases of sex-related human trafficking offenses. Halifax, with a population of fewer than 500,000, reported 30 cases of sex trafficking. So that's a huge difference. Now, here's another one. Nova Scotia man facing human trafficking charges involving 5 victims, including youths. May 3rd of 2023. A Nova Scotia man is facing a slew of charges as part of a human trafficking investigation in the Halifax region involving 5 victims, some of whom were youths. Halifax Regional Police said they received a report of human trafficking that was occurring in the region in January of this year. On April 28th, investigators searched a residence in Halifax, arrested a suspect, and seized some electronic devices, police said in a news release. Adam Ray Greenlaw, 40, has been charged in relation to incidents that happened between May 2021 and April of 2023. And it goes on to report all of the offenses he was charged with. Human trafficking in Nova Scotia continues to be an issue across Canada. Human trafficking continues to be an issue across Canada and in Nova Scotia. It involves recruiting, transporting, or controlling a person. Oh, this is not the one. I'm sorry. That's the wrong. Sorry, guys. I can't find the one that I was going to, the next one that I wanted to pull up. However, you know, you can sit there and say, well, why are you talking about this? What is going on? I am starting to wonder. Now, again, this is pure speculation. This is just a theory. This is just my opinion. This is just straight up speculation. No facts, no nothing, just my opinion. But I'm starting to wonder if that wasn't a drug party at all. Maybe drugs might have been involved, but I'm starting to wonder if there wasn't a more sinister plot to that party that night, if a party in fact did take place. I have done a lot of research all morning about human trafficking in Nova Scotia and how insanely crazy it is, how often it happens, how statistically it demands its front row seat when 2 children come up missing, right? I'll say that. Now, thinking about everyone that's involved, thinking about the silence from the mom and the brother who live in the RV in the backyard, thinking about the silence from the mother and her leaving and not reporting anything whatsoever, and not talking to media, not advocating for her missing kids, not talking on social media, like not even posting on social media about her children. And as a matter of fact, it's not just her. Her mother has not posted anything on her Facebook about the children. Her mother has not spoke out at all. Now, you think about the people that her dad may have been involved with, because drug trafficking and human trafficking often go hand in hand, right? Traffickers are just worried about trafficking, But anyway, so thinking about the company that they keep, I'm just saying, you have to wonder. Thinking about the stepdad saying he's still fighting for the children. He's fighting for that. Like I still, and I've said this since the beginning, something does not sit well with me when it comes to that. So I'm starting to wonder if maybe what was going on in that trailer that night wasn't just a drug party. I'm starting to wonder if there wasn't a more, like I said, sinister plan that night, because the kids were not seen again. There's been no evidence of them found in the woods. There's been no evidence of them found anywhere. I mean, I know the police took the neighbors' trail camera footage and they went all the way back to the 27th. So obviously they are even. Listen, maybe this didn't go down quite the way the parents said that it did. Maybe this actually, in fact, went down beforehand. So hopefully they can capture something on there. But, all this, I was on this drug track, right? Thinking when it comes to this case about, and I've talked about all this in my previous videos, but I haven't really touched on the human trafficking part of it. And I definitely think that was something that needed to be brought up today. It was definitely something that was weighing on me. And I was thinking, maybe, just maybe, That's what happened. Maybe that's why the police took the router to see who was in that facility that night, to see if any of those people were in fact involved in or related to or associated with any kind of trafficking in the area or anything like that. And not for nothing, but, and I'm not saying it did, but if something like this did happen and it did happen to be people associated with the mother or her family, it would make all the sense in the world why she would point the finger at the stepdad, not talk to him, cut off ties, and she's trying to paint a narrative. I don't know what's going on, but there being no sign of those kids, and it just does not sit well with me. It's been like 3 weeks. 6 years old and 4 years old just vanished into thin air, or did they? Let me hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions. Keep spreading that light. And I'll see you next time. Oh, and not to mention that if in fact that mother was telling the truth about her daughter, then Malia's brother also has some unsavory tendencies, I will say. But let me hear your thoughts. Have a good day.